Excited you're here.
It's a pleasure,
You're a
Roland.
regular, and you always bring all sorts of good information. Today you mentioned that you've had some comments about this particular corkscrew.
You know, Roland, in the past, people have asked me many times about the ability to open wines. As you get a little older, sometimes you're a little arthritic, and you can't quite get a bottle of wine open. Like I'm having trouble here with the foil cap. I've got it now. At any rate, fortunately, wine today comes with screw caps, which makes it very, very easy for seniors.
Some wines.
But most wines are still corked. And this is the simplest corkscrew in the world. It's called a screw pull. It's about $12. It's available everywhere. You get Williams-Sonoma, to the department stores, to Target. Everybody sells these. They're only $12. And anybody, if you see how I'm opening this here,
you don't have to
it
have
requires no strength at all. Comes right out just like that.
We use it at home, and we don't have any problem. It's just the easiest thing to do.
Yes, it's very, very easy. So if you haven't got a screw top bottle, you can open it with this screw pull corkscrew puller. And the guy that invented this had a wife who was arthritic, and she liked to drink wine, and she couldn't obviously work the other corkscrew. So the worm here, which is the inside, that is coated with Teflon, so it goes into the cork very easily. You turn the top on top, so it's just like turning on and off a tap, and there's really nothing to it. And you pour this wonderful red liquid out, which I'm going to tell everybody today is practically a health food.
Tell us.
Red wine has been proven by innumerable studies, including the Mayo Clinic, the New England Medical Journal. The Danish government did a test on 60,000 people over 14 years on the health benefits of wine. All of these studies, and like I say, there have been thousands of them, all prove unequivocally that a glass or two of red wine a day is very, very good for you. This originally started with 60 Minutes, when Morley Safer did a thing on the French paradox. The French eat lots of fat, they have less cardiovascular problems, everything else. They're thinner, etc. Why? And what that study proved on 60 Minutes, it was the consumption of red wine. Recently, there's a book out called Why Are French Women Thin? One of the conclusions that's drawn in there is the fact that they drink a lot of red wine, and it helps keep women thin. And as you age, red wine makes daily living easier, I think, more relaxed, etc. And the health benefits, Roland, are absolutely overwhelming. The unfortunate thing, and the reason you don't hear so much about all these health benefits, is in our country, due to Prohibition, which I'm sure many of your listeners remember, Prohibition, you know, banned liquor sales in the United States for about 12 years. And when we came out of Prohibition, the government put in all sorts of regulatory things about the wine and spirits industry in the United States. One of them was, instead of, as in most countries, putting wine in the Department of Agriculture, they put it in an area called the Bureau of Alcohol, Tax, and Firearms. They govern the sale of guns as well as the sale of wine. And by their edict, no wine manufacturer may tout the benefits of wine. Now, you may have heard a commercial on the radio for Welch's grape juice that says Welch's grape juice is heart healthy and good for you. But a wine can't say that. I can say that.
And wine is better than the grape juice, you said.
Much, much better. The wine is totally natural. In grape juice, they have all sorts of artificial things. In here, you're simply drinking pure fermented grape juice. There's nothing in any wine that's added, no chemicals, nothing. It's a natural product, and it's so heart healthy that it just defies description.
Now, Jack, quite often we'll have wine at home, all right? And I have a guilt feeling because we don't finish the bottle, and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to put it flat, but I'm instructed that I should keep it flat, either in the icebox and so on if it's red. And so I wonder, is it possible for me to put it up straight for a few days, either on the table or in the refrigerator, and it doesn't create any problems if it's straight up?
Here's what I do at home. I have a couple glasses of wine, put the cork in like that. Red wine I don't keep in the refrigerator, keep outside.
Sure.
And that'll be good for 2 or 3, 4 days. White wine will stay up to 5 or 6 days in the refrigerator the same way corked up. If you're concerned with keeping wine any longer than that, there's a gadget out called a VacuVin, V-A-C-U-V-I-N. And VacuVin is a little bitty rubber gasket that goes on the top of the bottle, and there's a hand pump there that pumps all the air out of the bottle. So, in effect, seals the wine. You put it in that VacuVin, and it'll last 10 days, 12 days.
Well, here's another question that we're talking about. You're suggesting that we drink wine on, or the health suggests that we drink wine on a regular basis, many days. Now, cost-wise, what range can we start thinking in terms of what do we have to spend in order to have a decent red or white?
Well, you can get a decent red wine from Chile and Australia for $5 or $6 a bottle, and that's as good as any red wine, even $1,000. The health benefits are exactly the same in a $6 bottle of red wine as they are in a $500 bottle of red wine. The same. These wines I have brought here today, here's a Sangiovese from Italy. That's the principal grape type of Chianti. Here's a little Côte de Rhône from France. The grape type in there is Grenache. Here's a Cabernet from California, and this is a Pinot Noir from Burgundy in France. These are all under $10, and every one of those is as heart healthy as a $200 bottle of wine. And as I said, and I say heart healthy, red wine has been proven to be good for all sorts of things. They're now experimenting with red wine and dementia, Alzheimer's. They think it slows the mental, whatever the thing is in your brain that causes Alzheimer's. Consumption of red wine slows that. They've known about all of this stuff forever. I remember I wrote an article for one of the magazines here in 1972 about the health benefits of wine, and I was a pioneer, and a lot of people laughed at me, and the only reason I knew about them and it became a passion with me is my degree is in pharmacy. So it was kind of a hobby, wine as a medicine, and there was a doctor in California, Sal Lucia, who wrote a book on wine and medicine, and I read his book, and then I go after any book that connected the two, and of course, lo and behold, now everybody has embraced this, and the findings are absolutely overwhelming.
Thanks, Jack. We're about out of time, but you have provided, as usual, some invaluable information, and I can assure you we're going to start drinking red much more regularly at home. Thanks a lot. Jack Farrell at Haskell's.